Hi, my name is Bryn Allen, and today I'm going to be talking to you about alcohol abuse. According to the United States Center for Disease Control, more than 88,000 people a year on average in the United States alone die from alcohol abuse. Also, according to the CDC, 3.3 million people a year all over the world die from alcohol abuse. It is a growing epidemic all over the world and continues to be one of the world's most preventable causes of death, second only to tobacco and poor diet. Some things that we need to look at today that I will include in my presentation are drinking irresponsibly, the social aspect of drinking, and the age limit on drinking. It is important to first know the signs. For us to be able to fix the problem of alcohol abuse, we have to be able to identify it. To figure out if your friends, families, and peers are struggling with substance abuse, you can look for a few things, like problems at school or work that involve drinking, memory issues or blacking out often while drinking, running into legal issues such as getting arrested for your level of intoxication or drunk driving, and continuing to drink even when you know you have had enough. The first main point that we're going to discuss today is drinking irresponsibly. There was a study conducted by the International Collaborative Alcohol-Related Longitudinal Project that compared countries that have daily drinking, i.e. Spain, Italy, and France, to countries that have heavy binge drinking, i.e. Ireland, the United States, and Canada. These countries can also be referred to as wet countries or dry countries. Wet countries are going to be countries like Spain, Italy, and France that include more daily drinking, but contrary to popular belief, do not have higher rates of alcohol intake. These countries focus on breaking the stigma around having alcohol at things like dinners or lunches or work events or anything else. They will likely most commonly have wine or beer at these types of events. And dry countries, so these are going to be countries like Ireland, the United States, and Canada, are going to have periods of heavy binge drinking where it is not normalized to have a glass of wine with every meal, but it might be normalized to go out to the bar every Friday night and consume 4 to 5 drinks in a period of 2 hours or less. It is also important to note that these countries have differences on what types of alcohol are consumed. So, like I mentioned, when dry countries have that commonplace of going out on a Friday or Saturday night and having 4 to 5 drinks in a 2-hour or less period, it will not be 4 to 5 drinks of wine. It will likely be 4 to 5 drinks of liquor like vodka or tequila, and this is also important to note because of how different alcohol beverages affect your body. While this is a comparison of all different countries, what we can see directly that affects us here in the United States is the social aspect of drinking. According to a study on social ecological framework, American men are much more likely than women to use alcohol, with 56.5% of American men reporting alcohol use, while only 47.9% of American women are reporting alcohol use. What is even more important about these numbers is 9.9% of these men that are reporting alcohol use also report heavy drinking, while only 3.4% of our women are reporting heavy drinking. This is important to note because in our commercials and in our marketing tactics towards advertising alcohol in general, we do tend to target men more, and it is obviously showing, and it is negatively affecting our society, particularly our men in society, and how they feel obligated to drink and how much they feel obligated to drink. And another note also occurring in the United States, people with higher socioeconomic status tend to drink more frequently, while people with lower socioeconomic status tend to drink larger quantities. This is kind of like the comparison of wet versus dry countries, where people with a higher socioeconomic status might be drinking more, or might be drinking on the daily, but people with lower socioeconomic statuses might not drink on the daily, but they are consuming more alcohol than the people that are. This is obviously a problem because one of the main issues of alcohol is not drinking it every day, but it is the quantity of how much you are having at one time. To go into this a little bit deeper, we can talk about kids and teenagers and their issues with drinking. Teenagers in high school and in early college are going to drink either way, whether they have their parents' permission or not, whether it is legal or not. Introducing alcohol into society like wet countries will break the stigma around alcohol, and it will lower the amount of binge drinking. The United States does not treat alcohol like it does other deadly substances like cocaine. Because of this, kids have much easier access. According to Carol Galbitek, an alcohol rehabilitation specialist, roughly 80% of college students are reporting that they are drinking alcohol, while 50% of these students are admitting that they are participating in binge drinking. Whether they are over 21 or not, binge drinking is not healthy, and it is affecting many people and causing fatalities and other long-lasting health issues all over the world. The early weeks of the beginning of college are critical, and according to the National Institution on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, one of the major leading problems for college students stems from limited interactions from their parents and other adults on the education of alcohol and consumption of alcohol. It is also popularly believed that increasing the age limit in the United States to 21 for alcohol consumption did not alone prevent alcohol-related traffic fatalities from occurring. The National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration estimates that through 2002, 21,887 lives had been saved from this law since it had been changed. In 1982, alcohol was involved in 60% of U.S. vehicular fatalities, while in 2005, this number only stood at 39%. This sounds like a great statistic, right? Like changing the alcohol age to 21 was the best decision ever, right? Because it helped so much. This is actually kind of a flawed statistic. It involves all accidents involving alcohol, not just those that were between the ages of 18 to 20. But a study that was conducted by Dee and Evans shows that the specific change of raising the drinking age did not save the lives of 18 to 20-year-olds that were drinking. It simply postponed them from being involved in an alcohol-related crash until they were 21 to 24 years old. With that being said, it is important to note that there are other ways to prevent alcohol abuse that are effective and that we can implement all around the world to lessen the chance of fatalities occurring from alcohol abuse. We already discussed what we need to look for in friends, family, and peers for signs of alcohol abuse. The next step is to break the stigma around drinking and properly educate our children about it so that dangerous misuse. Alcohol abuse, like I have mentioned, is a growing epidemic all over the world, even though it is something that we have the power to change. If everyone stopped putting a dangerous label on it and instead took the few extra seconds it takes to educate, like I have today, we could see ourselves living in a much better world. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something today.